So boom, I went on my last video of planning your paycheck. I already knew I was gonna have to do a part two, but the comments came rolling through, no matter if it's DM, no matter if it's in the comment section, or I had even a freaking email of people saying, hey sis, or hey girl, I I don't have my paycheck goes up and down, and I'm like, I know because I've been there before. So if your paychecks fluctuate throughout the month or the year or whatever, we're gonna break it down a bit, shall we? Like I said, I got a couple of commentaries around that my paycheck is not the same every time. So how can I make this fit in line with my budget, my lifestyle, and pretty much the cost of living? And the reason why I decided to do this because I already knew it was a need. It's because I have been there. I have worked a gig job where the money is supposed to be this and your bills are saying that, and it's not the same that you had every couple of weeks. And then I worked on a contract role when you promise 40 hours a week and then you get 32 and you're like, this is not the money that I need to make things when they're due. You know, I like to make things rhyme. But within that, I know that we talked about that from the zone of having consistent paychecks, but it's a big old group of people who either are gig workers or their paychecks or their hourly workers, whatever. Your paycheck is not the same every time you look in HR or every time that you look at your direct deposit. It's like, oh, okay, this different. But the thing is though, even if you making it consistently the same paycheck every week, every other week, every month or whatever, you still are not, that you still need to learn your money and leverage it within the budget that you have, no matter whatever the ratio is. And I've been seeing a lot of commentary around people saying that 50, 30, 20 is not really working for them because it's not aligning to their reality. Ain't that sound familiar? I've said that because you have to understand that what's your income, your expenses, your bills, your cost of living, and measure that to your paycheck, because your budget pretty much sets the plan for your money, your paycheck sets the pace, and you understand where your money is going all over the place, right? So within this video, we're going to talk about the same theory that we had around planning your paycheck, but in regards of those that have their income goes up and down, they have the ebbs and flows. So within that, I do want to give you this for you to go back to look at planning your paycheck, but to have this video to have a different set of eyes to no matter what lies whenever the direct deposit comes in. It can seem harder whenever your income it can change by the season or the reason. And within this video, we're going to talk about not eight, four practical tips on how to learn and leverage to planning your paycheck, no matter if your income ebbs and flows. Understanding the elements of planning your paycheck is going to allow you to handle your wallet better and see more gains over time. And let me just go ahead and say this and preface this is that the things are for where you are right now with your money, it didn't happen overnight. So the changing, the recorrection, or moving, or rewriting, or writing the ship is not going to happen overnight. But I would say this: the same thing I brought out in that first video is that I want you to run this little bit of a practice for at least 60 days. 60 days to see, okay, this is working. So that's the thing whenever you're starting a new budget, even if it's from the 50, 30, 20, even if it's for zero-based budgeting or anything like that, I need you to let it run for at least 60 days to see, let you know if it's going to go or stay with your money management. And if it stays, then you understand that, okay, this is what's going forward and I can plan for certain things. If it has to go away, that you're still finding a like of a hybrid of it. So you have to look at, if it is 50, 30, 20, what did you like about that budget style? If it is zero-based budgeting, what did you like about that budget style? Pull that together to find your hybrid to make sure your money is rolling for you. So again, we're going to talk about 4 practical tips for you to plan your paycheck, no matter if your income ebbs and flows. So let's go over to step number 1. So step 1 and 2 kind of go hand in hand because it's going to allow you to understand what your income cycle looks like. So when I say income cycle looks like, if you have 1 paycheck or 2 paychecks, or you gig or anything else, you knowing what your income streams coming in, how much are they coming in after taxes. So after taxes, Social Security, all that funnels in, what is going to be what's deposited in your bank account. So the step 1 and 2 kind of go hand in hand. 1 is pretty much walking you through the collecting the data. Part 2 of, or step 2 is pretty much going to how you allow you to pretty much take those insights and actually figure out this is the number that we're going to go and operate our budget by, right? So on step one, we're going to talk about, audit your wallet. But in this regard, we're going to pretty much track and pull and understand your income streams. So I want you to go and look at your last couple of paychecks. When I say couple, not two. Sometimes it can be reiterated. It's just of sale words. So within this exercise, I want you to pull, let's just say 2 months of paychecks or 3 months of paychecks. Three is usually my rule of thumb on this channel, right? 3 months of paychecks. And when you're pulling in that, I want you to group your paychecks into two. You're going to have the higher or months or so of that. I just got an idea. A higher months of paychecks within that, and then you're going to have the lower months of paychecks within that. And then I'm getting ready to, I just thought about something because I had a client not too long ago that they noticed that their paychecks were a little bit more around the summer months due to another income stream that came from their main job than they do the rest of the year. So if you have income streams like that, go and pull from those higher months, and then we're going to look at the regular months that you have. So go pull a couple paychecks from the high months in the low months, or go and do a couple of high paychecks or low paychecks. So go find your ebb and flow within your statements and say, okay, these couple of months or these couple of weeks, this is what I'm usually on the high end. These couple of months or these couple of weeks of paychecks I'm usually on the low end. Understanding what the high end is and the low end is, you're pretty much going to be able to go on to step two. We're not quite there. The thing that I do want you to do is that you have multiple paychecks. I need you to pull all of them the same way. So if you're driving for, I don't want to say the name of the company, I don't want to blast me. If you're driving for a gig company, you need to go pull out, look at your high months. So if, for instance, that you've been noticing that summer months are pretty much your high months, and the Christmas months, and I know because I remember, are the high months or whatever months is what you're going to pull in. Or you're going to go back and look at your data to say, hey, these are the decisions that I've made or within the dollars. Okay, I make a lot more money in these couple of weeks or these months of the year, and this is what I make in the low months of the year. The reason why is because when you're learning to look at the insights that you have, you're able to implement the money that you want, and it'll allow you to increase your awareness and accounts down the line when it comes to your money. So step two is pretty much you're going to calculate your monthly average. So we did this. We had the high, the ebb, and the flow. Okay, ebb and the flow. So whenever you understand what your income cycle looks like, I want you to get a average of those income streams. For instance, if your take-home pay is $3,415, some paychecks on some months that you're noticing that you're bringing home $4,900. The average of those two are going to be $4,157.50. Gotta add a 50 cent on. The reason why is because that $4,157.50 is going to be your base number. Your base number is what you're going to base your planning of your budget and your paycheck down. So if you had that $4,157.50, you were able to look and align that to more, not only just your bills, but your expenses, your savings, and things like that. So the reason why is because you're going to base that to actually build beyond that. This will allow you to create an even more realistic budget based upon having a baseline. And even if you have those leaner months or leaner paychecks or whatever, that you're still going to be able to flow with to handle those months too. So depending on your bills and expenses, this might feel like it could be a pain, but it could make it allow you to see that your budget, your living expenses, it is possible for you to thrive. So within those two, I want you to go back and look and pull all of your paychecks and know this is what I'm bringing in, this is what's coming in. We're going to split it into two, and then we're going to find the average to build our baseline. So let's get into number 3 and 4. So in this section, we're pretty much going to take what we did from pretty much section 1 and move it over to section 2. So in number 3, part 3, whatever, you get what I mean. We're going to talk about planning the flow. In this one, I want you to determine, after you determine your base number, which I hope you've done. If not, go back and do it. In the comments, let me know or you surprised by your base number, meaning that you think it would have been higher. What are you thinking, really? Just let me know in the comments. So in part 3 or step 3, now that you have your base number, I want you to then develop a cash flow account. If you've been following me, you know what type of account or savings account I'm going to tell you to do, right? Account is a high yield savings account. Pretty much think of it like a low emergency fund for low or different flows of this type of month. This will cover when you are short or have any unexpected expenses. So whenever you're developing or building out this pretty much of a savings account, that I want you to pretty much, it's going, yes, emergency funds hold 3 to 6 months, but this is going to be able to handle you if you are finding that your number is $4,157, but you are having your bills around 23, or no, let's just say $3,000. So whatever you are short or you have extra, you know my pay up method. You're going to take that pay up method after you pretty much pay all your bills, after you actually look through your budget, after you pretty much understanding the flow of your money. That extra money you're going to either take and pull, you're going to take and pull it into this account. So on those months that your paycheck is a little bit lesser and you're noticing that you still got these bills are still billing, that you're able to take from that emergency account and move it over. That's what it is. That's where you're building the flow. So the flow will be there. Like I was telling you about my client, pretty much noticed that certain months that they were bringing home more, like in the summer months. So we able to set a plan and plan the budget to wherever the extra is that we're pretty much paying ourselves in the future. You're taking a portion of that money and moving it over to your high yield savings account that is designated for that. If you have ally or anything like that, you can actually create a bucket that will be allocated towards your cash flow for the lower months, or the ebb or the flow of it all. Let's see, the thing I want you to say is that, and for you to build up, like I said, it's going to take you some time to get. It's a routine. The thing around routines is like you have to take some pre-workout before actually getting up to the workout. So this 60 days or so is going to probably pretty much be like your pre-workout before actually making sure your funds work out. So you can try this a couple of months, 60 days. You know, I've said that if you had those high months and you're going to take a portion of that, move into a high yield savings account. Not a sinking fund. A high yield savings account. I have a video talking about high yield savings accounts, my recommendations and things like that. So the thing is that you're building up a reserve. So you're taking the revenue that you have, the surplus, and then building a reserve. So when you know your low base, it'll determine how much you will probably be in a deficit in during those months. We don't see deficit as a bad thing. We see deficit as a way for you to make a decision to be able to handle it later. So transfer that gap number in a sense. Pretty much, if you notice that in the high months that you have the surplus and you move it over, but then you're able to go and look at your budget and understand your baseline and say, okay, if I'm making what I'm making this right here, I should not have, I should be able to fund it because I have that reserve that's over there that can help me for the months or the weeks that I don't have it, in a sense, or I don't seem like I have it. Let's just say that. So your high yield savings account is pretty much going to help you. You're going to build it during the peak. So whenever you feeling a little bit of a pit, that you have money to handle it. Makes sense, right? So another step 4 is that you're going to build your budget based upon reality more so than ratio. We talked about this at the top of the video. The reason why is because when you're auditing your wallet and you're understanding the other side of the coin, that you, when it comes to not only your paycheck but your bills and expenses, you're able to develop and create and stick with a budget that actually matches your reality. So if you're going to base upon 50, 30, 20, but you're going to notice that by the end of the month that you're running red, it's because you probably need to either look into a zero-based budget or figuring out what the ratio or how your budget is going to run. And another thing I want to add is that right now we're seeing a lot of people getting laid off right now. Doing this exercise right here would allow you to fully formulate what your emergency fund should look like, how much should be in there, how you should actually execute and carry that out. I have a video talking about that as well. So the reason why is because you determining your base number, but it's not necessarily for the peaks and valleys, but it's allowing you to see this is what I need to be bringing home. And I'm gonna tell you a little tip. You're not allowed to do this right here. If you're noticing that you're bringing home not enough to carry yourself, you either carry to get some more education. You know, I'm going to preach this every video, or you're going to carry to configure your expenses. So this exercise pretty much does a couple of things. Well, in the same scheme of it all, how can you know how much more money to ask for if you don't understand the money that you have now and the expenses that you have right now? You go sit there and ask these people for $5,000, knowing by the time you get split up a couple paychecks, a little tongue tied, and by the time taxes hit it, you're pretty much gonna be in the same situation. So you have to learn your money. This is the way you're learning your money so you can leverage it to either ask for more, handle your money better, or whatever. I try to make that right. I couldn't. So that's the reason why we're going this exercise. I had to come back a little bit. I'm not in your space no more. So I would suggest you trying out this for at least 60 days. I put in my notes a month, but we're going to say 60 days. The reason why is because you're giving yourself time and space to learn your money, build your formula, and seeing, okay, my base number, it works, but I need to do this instead. It's like your base number works. You're finding that comma. You're finding the comma to build up your commas in a sense. So you're finding, okay, this number works, comma, but I need to change how my expenses are flowing. Maybe I eat out too much. Maybe I shop too much. Maybe I got too much on Carnata or buy now pay later. Or maybe I need to change some of these subscriptions, or maybe I need to negotiate my credit card bill, or maybe I need to do this, or maybe I need to get more dang on money. That's always another equation to it. It's for you to get more money. How can you get more money if you don't understand the money that you have now and how much more do you need to have in store? So the next one I was, like I said, we suggest doing that for a month. But when it comes to those peak income periods, prioritize the needs over necessary wants. So you know you got more money coming in and more money flowing, that don't mean that you need to start flowing it all over. And that's one of the things though, is that when people talk about when it comes to lifestyle creep, it's not lifestyle creep. It just pretty much either you're fueling the person that you were when it's your money in another season. I'm gonna do a video on this. I already got a newsletter around it. I'm gonna link it in the comments if I can remember around this. Or you're just, it's like sometimes more money that does mean that you're gonna have more things that cost more. But if you don't learn and leverage your money where you are, if you're not able to handle the $10, how can you handle the 10,000? How can you handle the more? Because you need to build money systems, and this is what these videos right here, this one and the one previously, is about, or the one in this playlist, which I'm pretty much gonna put it all in the playlist, is because we understand the basic still builds big. So you do basic things like starting to save a little bit more, opening up a high yield savings account, understanding what's going on with your expenses, understanding if you need to, how you can still have the life you want, but on a different type of income stream or a different type of budget per se for it. Then whenever you do make the more, you like, all right, I know that I can do it on this, and you're going to take that surplus and save more. Just like right now that I'm filming this, that Amazon has where you can, even though I'm a Libby person, the Amazon has where you can buy books, and you're noticing that you're saving this amount of money. And like I said, when you save money, you save the money. Meaning if you see that you're getting something for a laptop that's supposed to be $1,000, but you get it on a special for uh 500. This might be easy for me, child. 500. So what you gonna take with that $500, and what you gonna do with it? Are you going to save it in a high yield savings account towards your emergency fund? Are you going to pay towards the bill? Because you already itemized or already planned for it. You already got the money. So what are you going to do with that money? How are you going to pay it up? So whenever you understand, if you have extra money, how do you make more money? And it was one thing or how do you make it leverage in something? It was something that I saw this tip, which I kind of agree with, but you only you get it when you get it, okay? So they say whenever say for instance, you get paid on Friday, but on Thursday, before you know, I'll say leave a little bit, just enough that you know that you get ready to get paid the next day. Whatever is left in your account right before a paycheck hits, leave a little bit just in case you know something pending charges are coming out. That you take whatever is left and move it over into your a high yield savings account, or move it over to a high yield savings account. This will allow you to start your everything fresh, but it allows you to get a fresh perspective on what you had left over for that paycheck. And then if you already have it itemized towards something, it's still, you can leave it there. But if you have it, like you've already paid all your bills for the month, but you notice that you have an extra 50, if you have $50, $20, $10 over, and you know you here and start a new month, or you have a new pay cycle in a sense starting over, you've already paid all your bills, don't really have any expenses. If you have anything left over, no matter if it's $5, $10, $20, you take that extra and move it over to make it become extra due to the fact of the APY of it moving up. So whenever you're having your peak, meaning you're getting paid more, I don't want you to be saying, oh, I can go blow money and do all that stuff. I want you to prioritize your needs and then look into leveraging your wants within your paycheck. So if you know that you only have this amount of money, that you're still able to find some way to give yourself something, so you're not necessarily just paying bills and dying. Okay, we're not doing that. So let's recap. The first thing that I want you to do within that, with figuring out your planning your paycheck within an inconsistent income, is for you to audit your wallet, but we're looking at your income streams. I want you to fully understand what income streams you have, what are the high months or the high paychecks, and what are the low paychecks, and what are you have experienced before. Then you're going to split them up into two, and then in part two, step two, you're going to pretty much bank your base number. When you calculate your monthly average, that average that comes out is your base number. And then we're going to move on for you to understanding your flow. So when you figure out your flow points, your high months, or your ebbs and flows, you're able to look into not only, let me bring this up, you're able to not only look at the high months and low months, you're also looking at what things are pulling at your budget during those months, which is why it's critical for you to understand your budget reality versus any ratio or any calculations that you're doing. So before you get that spreadsheet, before you get the app or whatever, that you're understanding the numbers of your income streams, meaning your average, then you're understanding the flow with, like we talked about in step number 3. And whenever, pretty much this is going over to step 4, is whenever you understand this is my income stream, this is my base number, this is where I'm gonna flow the extra, but then we're gonna actually figure out what are my budget, what is pulling at my budget, what bills are usually the average, what am I usually spending on certain months or certain weeks or whenever, or that's a ritual per you for our routine ritual. Same that you're figuring out your routine. When you figure out your routine, you're able to analyze your revenue to determine what's going to be the restructuring that you may need. Like we talked about, it could be more income, it could be just a reconfiguration or a budget correction. Okay. So then, like I said, within the part 3 or step 3, I keep getting these confused. Watch out. The step 3 of it all, when you're figuring out your flow and where your money is going to go, so you know I'm going to bring in this much during these months or weeks or whatever, that I'm able to move money over here to help the peak, or we gonna call it the valley of it all. So when you understand your peak and you're able to move money from your peak over to a high yield savings account, you'll be able to handle the valley, and you're pretty much setting a money management system in place. So that was steps 1 through 4 of ways to make your planning of your paycheck even better if your income is not the same every paycheck, every month, every whatever. So another thing I want to talk about is the automatic transfer. When it comes to automatic transfers, like you people trying to do auto pay, automatic transfers, if you look at your income, look at your budget, and then looking to say, what is my savings goals? What is my goals that I have for my finances? And I know that I want to be able to move $50. We're not going to say that you're losing $50. You're making more than your, let's say you don't want to say that you're losing $50, but you're growing $50, that you're going to move that $50 over to a high yield savings account. But this is going to take you looking at your budget to determine, this is what I can do and what I can't do. Is it 50? Is it 100? Is it 25? It's a 5. Whenever you find that base number within your savings goal in your budget, you're able to automatically transfer. And this is going to be key when you're planning your paycheck in a way like this, is that you're looking at the peak number. Man, we talked about that, and you're looking against your budget, and you're saying, oh, it's going to take this amount of money for me to move during my peak time. So whenever your money goes down or looking a little not so laughable, that you have the money already. So you're automatically, whenever you see that extra, you're automatically moving that money over into a high yield savings accounts to handle when you need it. So that is very powerful to do that, but I want you to take those 60 days for you to actually understand your automation process. So I have content around emergency funds, high yield savings accounts, sinking funds, all of that already. So in the comments, let me know, are you feeling comfortable with how you are with your paycheck planning process? What are you noticing within your budget that's still not clicking for you, and what way can I help you find that? No matter if it's through content or anything of that nature, drop it in the comment section below. How are you feeling about your money? It's getting ready to go into the summer months, so let me know if you're planning something. Have you been planning those vacations? How are you saving for those vacations? What are you noticing within the vacations or anything of the past? If you notice that you haven't taken a vacation in a while, looking to see what can you do, whether it's a staycation, rather it's going somewhere in a close facility, and saving for it now while we still have a couple of weeks away from it being summer. Labor Day is still a while away, so you can go ahead and start putting money to the side. So let me know in the comments what you feel about that. Don't only just watch, like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with someone that you know that they need to get their money under control and they have inconsistent paychecks and they need to make the money flow. So I thank you, and that's it.